Okay, so everybody wants to know, what is Donald Trump's plan for the Social Security Administration and Social Security benefits going all the way into the next decade? But more specifically, what's he going to do in 2024, 2025 if he were to win? And so the thing is this, in the very, very beginning, when he would be asked about the Social Security Administration, remember, we're talking 4 or 5 years ago now, so it was a while ago. He'd always give these like very general answers, like it's going to be fine, everything's going to work out, everything's going to be amazing, And we never really had a really tight knit, detail oriented plan on what was going to happen. And now, what we have right here now, is slightly more detail than what we had before. It's just an itsy bitsy amount of information more than what we normally have. It is a plan that I would suggest is more like a paragraph that you could very easily summarize into one sentence. So it's more of like an idea, it's a simple, straightforward plan. Let's get right to it. Former President Donald Trump, this is from Jenny Fink, senior editor, Newsweek. Let's just get right to it. I'm going to read from the article and then I'll give you the details. I brought a few little factoids into this. Let's get right into it. And remember, guys, here's the thing. I want President Biden and Donald Trump, whoever's going to lead this, giant sparkly unicorn, to make sure the Social Security Administration is safe, sound, well-funded, and, the employees being happy too. That would be good. That would be a good thing. Let's get into it. Former President Donald Trump rejected assertions that he'll have to make changes to Social Security if he wins in 2024 because America is sitting on a pot of gold. Social Security's future has been called into question for years, given the significant costs associated with the program. The fund has been dipping into reserves when the revenue it collects falls short of the amount it pays out, and it's projected to dry up in 2033 if no action is taken, right? So 2033 comes around, all the retired people are going to get like 75% of their check and be grumpy. You're going to be noticing a lot of elderly, grumpy people in 2033. That's what 2033 will be known for. Let's just summarize real quick what 2033 is going to be known for. Grumpy, elderly people. That's all. You think student loans are going to be at the top of that grumpy list? No. All those people that were out there saying, screw those young millennials, make them pay back all that ridiculously high student loan money that they borrowed to go and get educated and then become our doctors that we can scream at. Yeah, screw them, right? And that's the idea, is that when their check suddenly starts to disappear, like they've got a student loan, like, a quarter of their check has to go to a student loan, they're going to be ripping pissed. They're going to be angrier than a wet cat on a Sunday morning going out to get some kibble. I'm telling you, it's just going to be all wrong. It's just not good. All right, let's get right into this. Here we go. Social Security's future basically has been called into question for years, given the significant costs associated with the program. The fund has been dipping into reserves when the revenue it collects falls short of the amount it pays out, and it's projected to dry up in 2033. Politicians are unlikely to let the fund run out given the program's popularity. Not the fact that it keeps millions of people out of complete poverty, destitution, and homelessness. No, because of its popularity. I love this stuff. You can't. All right, here we go. But no, Social Security's insolvency problem has 2024 candidates flirting with the third rail of American politics. Biden's flirting with it a little bit. He's going to probably, put a sacrificial lamb by the fire and see what happens. Martin O'Malley's going to be standing by that fire, hoping nothing bad happens. Here we go. During Tuesday's town hall with Fox News, Sean Hannity, Trump criticized Governor Ron DeSantis and former United Nations ambassador Nikki Haley, for their plans for Social Security reform. He said, this is what Trump said, "You don't have to touch Social Security," Trump said. "We have money laying in the ground far greater than anything we can do by hurting senior citizens with their Social Security." Cool. Remember how I said it's not really a plan, it's more like a sentence, maybe a paragraph? All right. Former U.S. President Donald Trump speaks to supporters during a political rally. Sorry, that's the picture. All right. So Trump's plan to help save Social Security involves tapping Americans' oil supply in a similar way that Saudi Arabia does. It will take care of everything, Trump said. And he's right. If he can go ahead and get the government to work properly, be efficient, and get that oil out of the ground and sell it at a good price, he's right. It literally could pay for it. Saudi Arabia is the largest exporter of petroleum and made over $202 billion in oil exports in 2021. According to the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, oil revenue helped start Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, the PIF, which is being used to invest in companies and industries outside of oil in the hopes of diversifying the economy. We have more oil and gas than they do, Trump said, and he's right. It's quite a bit more. It's actually surprising. We can be rich again, he said. The U.S. Energy Information Agency reported that the U.S. is the largest producer of oil, and in 2021, the U.S. exceeded Saudi Arabia's oil production by about 10 million more barrels per day. Per day. At the start of the town hall, Trump told Hannity he will open up oil drilling in the United States on day one of his presidency if he wins in 2024. As you know, my main problem with President Biden is that he ruins our ability to do better oil production. We should have more, and I understand the environmental concerns. I get it. I really do. It's just not going to matter if other countries are able to attack us because we're not able to financially afford a military, but that's neither here nor there. But the pipelines, right? Getting into the grounds and getting all these potential federal government land allowances to go and do things, we have to get that. We run off of oil. Going fully electric is awesome. It's awesome. That's where everything's going. But we're not there yet. We're not. We need the oil. We use the oil. We burn the oil. That's how we do it. All right. So here's the deal. Trump isn't the only candidate talking about Social Security. At the Republican presidential primary debate on November 8th, Haley advocated for raising the retirement age for younger people, including her own children. She would keep payments in place for people nearing retirement age and said payments need to better reflect life expectancy. I disagree. The most wealthy country on earth should be lowering the retirement age because the whole effing point of this country is to make it a better place where the standard of living keeps going up, not down. Cool. On Tuesday, Trump criticized DeSantis and Haley for wanting to play around with Social Security and DeSantis for shifting his position on changing the retirement age. They all the Republicans, even Trump back in the day said, raise it to 7. They all said that. You can blame whoever you want, but they all at some point said we got to raise it to 7. They all said that. Okay, there's no here nor there. They all said it. Newsweek reached out to DeSantis via email for comment, but did not receive a response prior to publication. In 2013, DeSantis voted for a failed Republican resolution that would have raised the age to qualify for Medicare and Social Security to 70. In July, he told Fox News he was open to changing Social Security for people who are in their 30s or 40s. However, in November's debate, DeSantis said raising the age made little sense given that life expectancy in the United States is actually declining. You know why? Because we're all stressed, because we all got student loans, and we're all pissed off, and we don't have money. We used to be happy. Now, not so much. I mean, Netflix is good. Disney Plus, can be pretty good too. But let's be fair. We don't have money like we used to. We're not going on RV trips. We're not doing the stuff that used to be fun and enjoyable and taking breaks. We're working 24/7. Look at me, 37 years old, no girlfriend, no wife, no kids, 2 chubby dogs. Not a good situation. It's a great situation. All right, let's keep going. That was the article. Now, let's talk about oil. All right. Let's see. The Social Security Administration paid out $1.4 trillion in benefits in 2023. So $1.4 trillion per year. Cool. Got it. Awesome. The oil industry extracted a record high 4.47 billion barrels of crude oil in the United States in 2019, around 12.25 million barrels per day, worth an average wellhead price of US $55 per barrel. It's higher right now. I think it's like around 75. Production reached a new record high of 13.2 million barrels per day in October of 2023. So instead of 2020 being a record year and 2021 being a record year and 2022 being a record year, because Biden was not doing well when it comes to doing oil stuff, it took all the way to 2023 to beat 2019. Cool. That's specifically just, from Wikipedia's petroleum in the United States. Okay, next thing over here. Here's the deal. If we look at essentially some of the numbers from the last couple of years, which aren't perfect numbers, we realize this particular presidential candidate did not do well with oil. Shirley, thank you for the $1.99 donation. Love it. Spoiler alert. Very cool. Very true. Excellent. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. So here's the deal. Here's the math. okay, on essentially what they're making in the oil industry. So it was valued at around 44.1 billion barrels of oil. Basically, it was one of the years of the last couple of years. So 44.1 billion barrels of oil in a single year. What is 44.1 billion barrels of oil at $75 a barrel equate to? It equates to $3.3075 trillion dollars. So we pay out per year around $1.4 trillion dollars in Social Security benefits. Old school truck driver, thank you for the $1.49. Love the little hot dog thing. That's awesome. Very, very cool. Very cool. So the oil industry for America, just America, okay, and just the oil, not other stuff, not natural gas, not this, not that, blah, 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 okay, made $3.3075 trillion dollars in one single year. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Well, that's not that much more than 1.4 trillion. That's only a little bit more than double. Yeah, but you don't need that much more money to save the Social Security Administration, because you can jack up those trust funds by just taking some of that taxed money and putting it into them and keeping them afloat and keeping them rolling so that for the next 75 years, they're good to go. All right, so let's talk about this. Diana Fernandez, thank you for the $1 donation. That's awesome. That's the 20th super on a live stream. Very cool. Very, very cool. That's awesome. So here's the deal. Will President Trump's plan for the Social Security Administration work? Yeah, it's a good direction to tax the oil industry to help bolster the Social Security trust funds going into the future so that retirement will continue. Remember, a lot of these oil field guys, they get a pension. So they're not as concerned with their Social Security benefits as the average person who only gets a retirement check. Now, with that said, let's be fair here. Let's be very fair about this. Is there enough money to be made if we go back to America producing and selling its own oil to itself and not buying from overseas? Yeah, that would be the right move. If we taxed oil at a heavier rate and put those extra funds directly into the Social Security trust funds, would that create a better situation for Americans who need disability benefits, who need retirement benefits, who need spousal benefits, who need widows benefits, who need disabled adult child benefits? Absolutely. Those Title II programs would do extremely well. Extremely well. But in order to do that, you have to have somebody that's not President Biden, because President Biden is not somebody that's putting in new pipelines, using federal land to really dig that oil out, etc. Now, with that said, there are some environmental concerns. Will the giant apocalyptic ice shelf break off and eat Florida? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. It's kind of like, could happen. Could not happen. If you see me floating in water, probably happen. If you see me just hanging out, could have still happened. So the point is there a problem there? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. There's a problem there. With all this in consideration, okay, President Trump's style of leadership for America, very simple and straightforward. He runs it like a company. Ironically, President Biden is now seeking to put a person who wants to run the Social Security Administration more like a for-profit company, is something that Trump would do. So what's interesting about this is that President Biden is picking an individual who's much more, okay, I want to make this organizational in a different way so that people are knowing who's failing, people are knowing who's not doing their job right, people are knowing who's not accomplishing. I want people to get excited about not failing. That is a classic trick. And yes, I see the people calling. I got it. I know. I can see there's like 30 people who called since we last talked about this to do the live video. We're going to be doing the live video next, okay, where I answer questions. With that said, okay, what we're seeing is the model for having an individual like Commissioner Kijikazi run the Social Security Administration in a nonprofit style approach isn't working. It's not working. The setup was horrible for her, right? Commissioner Saul didn't leave her with a diamond here. And then President Biden wasn't able to secure enough money for her. So she was put in a fail situation. It wasn't fair to her. It just wasn't fair. She worked really hard. She did a lot of stuff. She had some fumbles. We saw them in the news. But overall, she did a good job. But now President Biden's putting in a political individual to have him run it more like, as a COO, a for-profit corporation, which is very similar to what Trump is doing with Commissioner Saul. What will happen? I have some ideas, but we've had so many people call in. Let me just get to the live video. As you know, the next video we're going to be doing every Thursday as we do it is we go live, I answer questions. There are rules. Rule number 1, you use a fake name throughout it. Rule number 2, you get 5 to 7 minutes. Rule number 3, you don't story mode. You don't get on there and you're like, when I was 12 and I was eating a fig and I was dancing in the fields with a leprechaun. You don't do that. You right up front hit me with your legal question. Guys, I will catch you in about, I would say, 10 minutes. Give me a little mini break. And then basically, I will go ahead and get things ready for the live session. Please remember to like. Don't be stingy with the like button. Please remember to hit that all button for the subscribe. If you want to leave a review, go to Disability Resolution Florida or Disability Resolution Google or Disability Resolution Law Firm. Click a review, and I love waking up to the 5 stars. Also, please thank the moderator. She's working hard. She's working very hard there. Also, very important, if you guys need a disability attorney, you know who to call. And I will catch you a little bit later. And you guys have an absolutely wonderful night. I will see you in about 10 minutes, and then we'll do the live. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.